The world's greatest shuffleboard players have come this week to downtown Reno for Table Shuffleboard's premier event, the 2015 North American Shuffleboard Championships. Our program is made possible by Budweiser, the Shuffleboard Federation, the Sands Regency Hotel and Casino, Champion Shuffleboard, Grant and Betty Watson. You call this what you call this is dressing your cord. So you put it over your shoulder so it doesn't. There you go. Okay. It's interesting. It doesn't matter how high up you go in broadcasting. If you watch Monday night or Sunday Night Football, Al Michaels still hasn't learned that. He always has his in front. So I will see this open on screen, huh? The world's greatest shuffleboard players have come this week to downtown Reno for Table Shuffleboard's premier event, the 2015 North American Shuffleboard Championships. Our program is made possible by Budweiser, the Shuffleboard Federation, the Sands Regency Hotel and Casino, Champion Shuffleboard, Grant and Betty Watson, and Heirloom Shuffleboards. And now, let's go to the action. Welcome to Table Shuffleboard's premier event, the 2015 North American Shuffleboard Championships. We're broadcasting live today from the Sands Regency in downtown Reno, and with me is the founder and director of this event, John McDermott. John, this event's been going for 26 years.
26 years, Dan. Hard to believe, but grown from a 8-board tournament to 32. We've got most of the best players in the world here. Feature match today with Roger Holloway and David Williams Jr. is a terrific match. Junior's been pretty much playing at the top of the top of his game and is pretty much acknowledged to be the best player in the game right now, though he's currently ranked number 2. Roger Holloway is also known as the instructor. He's done some terrific work, both video and printed documents on instructing people all the way up the ladder on how to play and really in-depth strategical skills and things like that.
Yeah, he's gone in depth with the Instructor's Corner, where he brings a lot of amateur players together and tells them how to really get into this sport.
Yeah, and it's one of the really cool things is they can submit pictures of actual situations showing where the weights were on the table and what the score was, and they'll ask him, what did you do and why, and then a number of different pro players will weigh in on different options that they hadn't considered.
Well, we know where we are, we know what we're doing, and now we need to know how to play. So we've got a video with Destiny Stewart-Jones, who's going to tell you about shuffleboard in case it's something you really don't know the details about. Destiny's got it for you.
Yep, and Destiny's one of the up-and-coming players in the game, went from virtually knowing nothing about the game to a pretty accomplished player already in just a span of a little over a year.
Okay, Destiny's going to tell us about the game of shuffleboard.
Thanks, Dan. The way table shuffleboard works is the first player or team to score 15 points wins the game. How to play table shuffleboard. First, players will flip a coin to see who starts off with the hammer, which is the last weight shot in a frame. Then they will alternate shots, one player being red, the other having blue. The frame ends after all 8 weights have been thrown. Now let's count some points. The only weights that score in a frame are those of the same color that are past the opponent's deepest weight. In order for a weight to count, it must pass the short foul line, which is 6 feet from the shooting end. For a weight to count as a 2 or a 3, it must be 100% in the score zone. If it is touching the line, it will be called as the lesser value. Any weight hanging off the end of the board is worth an impressive 4 points. This is how you check for a hanger. At the end of a frame, whoever scored will shoot first in the next frame, and if nobody scored, the hammer still switches. Have fun! As they say, table shuffleboard takes only a minute to learn but a lifetime to master. Back to you, Dan.
Destiny, thank you very much. Now we know where we are, we know what we're doing, and we know how to play it. Let's take a look at the key players that we're going to watch first, John.
Well, David Williams Jr., as I alluded to, is currently ranked number 2 in the game. Most people feel like that's a little bit of a underrating, as he has been the dominant player over most of the last year to year and a half. He has won all of the major singles events except for this one, so this has been something he wants very badly. His opponent, Roger Holloway, a.k.a. the instructor, did win this event 4 years ago, so he has reached the top of the mountain in that regard. And
well, these guys are no strangers to one another. They play head-and-head very often.
They play quite often. They just played a couple of $5,000 head-up matches down at where Roger plays in Houston a few weeks ago. David Williams Jr. plays out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so they're not terribly far away geographically, and they bump heads pretty often.
Yeah, they're pretty familiar with one another. So do you expect, John, that this could be a lengthy match?
I would expect this to go to the distance. All the games close. I would expect it to go a full 3 games, and I think we're going to see some spectacular shuffleboard. Well, good. We're looking forward to it. As you mentioned, Roger Holloway and David Williams Jr., our first match of this telecast here from the Sands Regency Hotel Casino in downtown Reno. The two of them still warming up. Maybe explain the coin toss a little bit about how we get started. Well, the advantage in a game is having the last shot in the frame, which is referred to as the hammer. So they flip a coin to see who has that choice. The winner of the coin, much like football, can either take the hammer in the first game or defer it to the second game. Most of the players prefer to defer the hammer to the second game. If it does, in fact, go 3 games, then they would flip again for the hammer in the third game. But essentially, whoever has it in the first game has to shoot first the second game. So they both get 1 shot each to start the game with the hammer. Now, these two players, are they rail players? Oh, they have all the shots. All the shots, okay. Okay, and what I mean is you're going to shoot off the rails. They're going to shoot what we call freehand, which is from the center of the table. And you're also going to see a wide variety of what we call span shots, small spans, medium spans, and I'll describe those kind of as they come into play over the course of the game. You might talk about the surface, John, because we frequently see people spraying powder on the surface, and it's a wax. You can refer to it wax or powder, but the options of players and how frequently they can do that. Well, they can touch up the dry spots on the table at any point in time that it's their shot, and the main reason for doing that is more consistent speed. When a weight goes to a dry spot, it obviously pulls up because of friction. So you'll see a lot of that going on over the course of the game. And you and I were talking before actually going on the air about these tables, and it's kind of my analogy was like a bowling alley because lanes play different, tables play different, and these players are warming up and watching and reading how the table plays. How important is that as you get into the match to know that, hey, there's a dry spot here, or there's a low spot here, or there's a high spot over here? Well, the whole game is based around that and taking advantage of the curves in the table. You'll see different speeds even from going straight down the rail to just moving it over a few boards. The speed could literally be a foot or 2 faster or slower. So a lot of it is trying to find what we call the best lagging lanes that are natural, where the weights go at a nice speed and pull up at the end versus dragging up in areas or running off the board in areas. So it's kind of twofold. You want to find the spots that are the most natural for you and your shots for lagging purposes, but you also, on the defensive side, are very much aware of where those spots are for your opponent. And it becomes a battle to try and take away what they want to do while leaving your options open. Yeah, where his advantage. And you see at the bottom of your screen, Roger Holloway will play the blue colored weights, and David Williams Jr. will have the red weights. And the scoreboard above each table will indicate in blue and red the score of the individual player.
So we're getting close to getting the first one underway here.
Yeah, actually they just started the first frame, so we have live action. Now, Junior just checked out that spot for lagging purposes, and Roger threw a block there. That's very unusual. I think we may have a little nerves here.
Exactly.
None of these guys are used to playing on TV, so yeah, you won't see more than a couple of those in the entire tournament out of Junior. Just a flat-out miss like that.
Yeah, that was pretty strong, right to the end of the table.
All right, so that's 2 points for Roger.
And again, we go over the game. If it's on the line between the 2 and the 3, it goes to the lower point total.
Correct, and it has to be 100% over the line, and some of these are close enough that it requires a call by the officials where multiple people will look at the position of the weight and make a call based on that. So, yeah, it's got to be 100% over with no portion of the line being obstructed. So Roger is deploying early in the game here a strategy we call short weights, and basically what he's doing is he thinks that is a spot where he can take away Junior's preferred lagging lane, and Junior is giving him, kind of tempting him to make a gamble shot, but essentially what Roger's done here is he's clogged up a good amount of the table and is hoping to get it in the way of where Junior wants to lag, but it looks like Junior's got a nice shot there. He starts out with an opening deuce on his first hammer.
So we are tied at 2.
Those are backwards. And that's what David Williams Jr. does better than anybody in the game right now. He's a terrific lagger.
So right in the middle of the table. Well, he was at least in the middle of the table.
Yeah, and that's kind of a danger zone because weights that are in that area are very easy to pass. And because of the natural curve of the tables, a weight there, the opponent could throw a 2 or a 3 around that and have it curl in directly behind it and make it very difficult for the other player to take out. So when you see a weight that's in that position, oftentimes the person shooting at it not only is going to try and knock it off the board, but they're going to want to try and slide it over to one side or the other to take out that go-around opportunity. And even though these are both very aggressive players, I think that given the nature of the situation that they may be a little conservative. Now, David Jr. just threw that weight off on purpose because he wants Roger to lag on a clean board. What I mean by that is no other weights being on the table. So now no matter what Roger does, Jr. will get the hammer from the other end of the table. Didn't work out there. A very nice lag by Roger. He lagged a 3. But generally you're never going to see when 2 good players are playing, you definitely won't see a person leave a 1 on the board because that kind of allows the other person to really go for it. And if they do throw it off the end of the table, it only costs them 1 point, and they get the hammer right back. But all tables have one end that plays marginally faster than the other. Sometimes it's dramatic, but usually it's fairly close at a tournament like this where the boards are high quality.
Goes back to my analogy about a bowling alley and lanes. One lane will play quicker than the other, et cetera, and you've got that at each end of the table. You know, you store these tables because this annual event at the Sands Regency Hotel in downtown Reno is, as I say, comes up every year. But the tables don't leave here. They store here. Now, during that year's period of time, do they change at all?
Well, tables will change literally over the span of just a day or two in this environment. Humidity has a huge effect on how much they curve, and also within just the course of a match, the speed will change dramatically from beginning to end as lanes start to become worn into the table. So you're constantly having to adjust the speed of your shots to compensate for what's happening in the tables. But Nevada is a particularly tough environment because wood in general and shuffleboard tables in particular prefer more humid type of environments. So these tables are actually stored here on hotel property, and the Sands has built what is essentially a large humidor to keep them in. So they're set in a very humid setting year-round. And then just over the course of the first couple of days that we were here, they started out at about, the concaveness was about 22 thousandths of an inch lower in the center than the sides, which is enough to create a lot of curves in the table. But just in the span of the first 2 days, they dropped from 22 thousandths down to 14, just because of the environment.
Yep, they were out.
So then this requires a lot of work from our crew to constantly adjust the tables over the course of the 9 days that we play to keep the playing conditions consistent.
And how do you adjust them?
Well, there are devices underneath the playing surfaces, 8 of them per table, called climatic adjusters, and they essentially allow the entire surface of the table to be flexed in either a concave or convex direction.
Well, we've been talking about the technicalities. Look at the match.
Yeah, it's 8-2 right now.
We'll get that score updated. 8-2 is our score. Have that on screen for you momentarily. Is this going, I know when we talked about it initially, you said, you know, it's a great match. Is it going according to what you thought would happen early on? Or it's hard to tell?
No, I didn't expect anybody to jump out to any kind of a significant lead like this. David is going to employ some more aggressive strategy right now. If Roger should happen to hit that weight and stick it, then he will almost certainly go in behind both of them. Roger knows that, and so he wanted to hit that weight and just clear the board completely.
So
and he's trying to get a feel for the speed of the board. I think that he may have been more comfortable lagging from the other end of the table because he did open with that 2-point lag, and I'm not sure how he feels about the speed on this end. It shouldn't take him long, but it's quite possible that he prefers the other end.
Like you said, John, adjustment. They go through the adjustment from end to end.
Yep, absolutely. And that was a much-needed deuce at that score. So it's now 8-4 Roger, but Roger does have the hammer. Now David Jr. is hoping that Roger sticks this weight, meaning that the red weight goes and the blue one stays in its place, because if that happened, he was going to try and put a weight around that. So Roger, of course, knows that, and he's going to be hitting these weights real hard and making sure that he doesn't stick.
Well, you could tell the way he went into his motion on the shot that he was going to ram it, and again did the same thing. This time he gets his weight to stick.
Yep, now Junior will probably try and put one in behind that. It's an aggressive play, but Roger's a great player, and with a 4-point lead in the hammer, Junior's going to want to try and make something happen.
Boy, you called it, just almost directly behind it.
Yeah, and had that been just another 5 or 6 inches deeper, it would have been directly behind it. This is not that tough of a shot for Roger to take that out. In fact, it looks like he's trying to stick it.
He did, but didn't get it square enough.
Correct. Which then leaves, of course, the opportunity for Junior to try it again. And having had one practice shot at it, I would not be surprised if this one ends up being a better effort. It was not.
A little long.
So Junior is likely going to be in quite a bit of trouble after this frame, especially if Roger lags anything of significance, which, well, he got out of it as unscathed as he could have, given the situation.
Yeah, he got it
just 2 points.
So remember, it's the best 2 out of 3.
Yeah, and it's definitely a game for grinders. It's not unusual that the person that gets beats the first game comes back and wins the next two, but this is certainly a pace that is a little surprising.
John, let me ask you this question. How important is it, or is it important at all, to be ambidextrous in this sport?
It's absolutely crucial. Even we have 4 divisions here. In addition to the pros, we have 3 amateur divisions. Even the people in the bottom amateur division have at least a reasonable amount of skill that they've developed with the other hand. And none of us starts out that way. That's just a skill that's required because of all the boards being different. And basically, when you see people shooting with different hands or with different releases from different points, it's to take advantage of curves that are in the table. And oftentimes, a shot that might be difficult to make with one hand or one release is completely natural and almost hard to miss coming in with the other hand or from a different angle.
Well, I want to remind you, Champion Shuffleboard, the world's largest shuffleboard manufacturer, wants you to play shuffleboard. It's fun. The full line of Champion Shuffleboard tables are available at shuffleboardtables.com.
All right, Junior comes back with a deuce. Keeping himself in the game. He's going to deploy the same strategy as last time. He's going to hope that Roger sticks that weight, and if he does, Junior will try and go around it. Now, if Roger's feeling really good, he might stick it on purpose and just basically dare Junior to put the weight in there. But nope, that's not the case. He's going to hit it hard. Though he did that last frame also. He hit the first one hard. The second one, he may have stuck on purpose. It's certainly not as critical if you stick the second weight because the other person has 3 weights left to try and do some damage with instead of the entire 4. And it does look like he's thinking about sticking this. Nope. Not at all. Looks like he's pretty happy with his position as he should be. So I would expect the same thing. He's probably just going to hit this hard and clear the board again.
Saw him throw just a little bit of powder on the table.
Yep, those dry spots are definitely developing. At some point in time, I would expect sooner rather than later, they'll probably wax that entire dry spot the full length of the table.
Saw that, see it move back just a little bit. He's got that read pretty well.
Yep, and that's deep enough that if Roger were to stick it, Junior would be able to stick it back and still make 2 points. Oh, there's a mistake. Oh. Yeah, my bad. I kind of lost track of the situation there on who had the hammer. Yeah, Junior did that hoping for that result that Roger would hit it and go. That's called stealing the hammer. So now he's still down 4 points, but it's his hammer instead of Roger's. This is a great strategy that you generally are only going to see out of the top players in the world. He bumped that weight up on purpose because now he's forcing Roger to either take off the short weight or keep another weight on the board, which he did. And generally speaking, the more weights that are on the board, the more it favors the person that's behind because they need something out of the ordinary to happen. So now Junior's going to either pass that, maybe even bump it up again, but he wants a lot of weights on the board, try and make a big frame.
Yeah, they've changed strategy, and this.
Now Roger will hit that red weight, Junior's weight hard, and just clear it because there really isn't a go-around shot for him with where that deep blue weight is.
That was a call. You called it.
I haven't played a lot against Roger. I'm not nearly as tournament active as I used to be, but I've played quite a bit against Junior over the years. So I'm a little more familiar with his game than I am Roger's.
And as we said early on, that these two have played one another so very much they know one another's game, could probably play the other's game as well as theirs.
Yeah, indeed. Now Roger, if he happens to make a terrific shot, which he almost did, he was trying to hit that and roll it in behind the other weight, which will put him in a really commanding position. But as it is with all of that, Junior's got a lag against 2 weights. He's got a lot of board open, so it shouldn't. Those weights are not really in his way, but the ramifications if he happen to lag off are pretty significant. But player that he is, that's used to put himself just right there in striking distance.
So
now Roger will play for a 2 here. Yep, they got it.
It was 10-4. Now it's 10-8. And then if he plays for the deuce,
it happens that fast. 12 is a hugely important number in shuffleboard because if you're on 12, that means you can lag a 3 to win the game. So Roger will very much be looking to make a 2, or Junior's going to try and hold him to 1, obviously, or maybe even steal a hammer. And he probably wouldn't pass that weight if Roger stuck it, but he's putting it in a spot where Roger's got to think about it a little bit. You know, if I do stick that weight, is he going to try and put a 3 in behind me?
So, identical shots back to back.
Yeah, Junior's just doing a lot of just checking the speed right now. Well, there's an interesting situation right there. If Junior's aggressive, he's going to try and go in behind it, which Junior's an aggressive player, and that's going to fall off the side, I think.
Boy.
It was a little too close. And of course, a top player like Roger, if he's feeling good, you know, can use Junior's aggressiveness against him. And that's really all he was looking to do. He wasn't going to get crazy and try and lag a 2 or a 3 there, because if you throw it off and leave yourself on 11 instead of 12, that's an enormous strategical mistake.
So he's set up where he wants to be now with a 12-8 and a 4-point lead.
Yep, 12 is the crucial number there. So no matter what Junior does here, unless he somehow scored 7 points, Roger's going to have a chance to win the game on the next end. Not that scoring 7 is inconceivable for Junior, but Roger's going to play this super conservative, and he's going to hit all these weights real hard and just try and leave the board clean, with Junior just having 1 weight with his hammer to try and score with.
And again, hoping that he doesn't pick up a 3 with that 1 weight, because a 12-11 score is not Junior's favor.
Well, yeah, I mean, he can live with a 3 for sure, because that still gives him the opportunity to go out the next frame, and Junior would have to lag a 4 coming back if he doesn't. But if Junior were to lag a 4 here, that completely changes the game. Now that I can't really tell. Junior's going down there to look at it, see if that's a 2 or a 1. I can't tell from this position.
Yeah, we weren't quite high enough with our camera shot to see what it was, a 2 or a 1.
Yeah, it's very close. We'll know by what he does here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to try and hit and slide that weight, meaning he's going to try and hit it on the right side, and his weight move to the right afterwards. Yep, he's not exactly what he wanted. That may still be a 2, though. Indeed it was.
It is.
So Junior sticking with his strategy, hoping that Roger will stick one of these weights, which I don't expect to happen. Roger's not happy because he's looking at him hit that weight right in the center hard. He is struggling just a hair in that he didn't stick that one right cross weight a couple of frames ago. He's not really hitting these as flush as he would like.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of anger in that shot.
Or just a little frustration there. Oh, there we go. And that's really, at this level, you expect them to hit every weight and make every shot. If they happen to hit a shot where they don't stick it, that's almost your evidence that they're not completely comfortable with that particular spot on the board. Now, he would love to have hit that and then slid it all the way over to the side where there was no go-around shot for Junior, because Junior would then had to just knock that weight off and give Roger a clean board.
Yeah, and Roger
to lag on. So Junior's probably going to try and throw what we call a small 2 in there, something that's just barely a 2. It's going to force Roger to stick it, and if he does stick it, it would only be a 1. That's a mistake. He did not want that weight there.
No, he wanted a few inches longer, as you mentioned, to stick it to, and you can see that working on the table.
Yep, and Roger basically now has the green light to win the game with really no ramification whatsoever. If he does happen to throw it off the end of the table, Junior's still only on 11, and Roger's got another chance to lag out. So I would expect this weight to either be a 3 or off the end of the board. He's certainly not going to leave it short unless it just makes a huge mistake. Oh, which he did.
He did.
That's an absolute dream scenario for Junior. Now we're in a situation where if Junior scores a 2 or a 3, Roger has to pretty much get out the next frame or give Junior a chance to win the game.
Yep.
Yep, and Roger's going to leave this board completely clean. He's not going to give Junior any chance to have 2 weights to score with. So I would expect him to hit this very hard.
Yeah, that was an understatement. Very hard with that rail shot.
Difficult sometimes for people filming, not realizing exactly what kind of velocity these weights are coming out at. By the time you grab your camera and go to make the adjustment, the weight's already gone.
There's a good case.
Junior just checked out a spot there, checking out the speed in an area where he has not really had any weight so far this game, in anticipation of Roger blocking maybe one of his preferred spots. Now that one looks to be a 1 from here, but that's real close. That could in fact be a 2, and if it is, it's a spectacular shot. It is a 2. So what Junior's going to look now is see how far he has to slide this weight. In other words, he does not want to hit this weight straight on and make 1 point. He wants to hit it on one side or the other and have his weight slide sideways and keep it a 2-point weight. And he may even, Junior's aggressive, he might even just forego shooting at this altogether and just try and lag a deeper 2 or a 3.
You know, he's studying it.
Because that's essentially a perfect shot by Roger.
David Williams Jr. taking his time.
Yep, he's going to try and outlag that too. He's not even shooting at it. Oh, and not a particularly good effort. Yep. And that is game 1.
So game 1 goes to Roger Holloway. As they clear the table and get ready, take a deep breath. We mentioned 2 out of 3. In this tournament, we talked about, John, there are 8 places that actually pay cash, the first prize being $8,000.
Correct. And, a nice weekend's work for the winner, to be sure. But essentially, we're weekend warriors. You almost have to be in first or second place to turn a profit. So that's one of the really cool things about Shuffleboard is we are probably still a very pure game, and that we're playing for the love of it and the enjoyment of the competition. And I guess the way all sports used to be before money polluted them in some respects. Well, there's nobody out here that just signed a big contract that's going through the motions, you know.
No, exactly. Waiting for the playoffs to come around, so when it really all counts. You're from Michigan. We talked about in our opening that this is the 26th year, and you're the founder of the event. But why are so many players, especially in this event, coming out of the state of Texas?
Texas is kind of the center of the shuffleboard universe these days. They have very active major shuffleboard bars in Houston, San Antonio, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and Austin, and all of these have pretty large shuffleboard communities. Two of the main bars in Texas, one in Houston, one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, both have 6 to 8 tables in-house at all times, and the one where the President's Day tournament in Hurst, Texas will be played at, a venue called Volcanoes, goes from 8 tables to 18 for the major events. It's a very large venue, so that's one of the real favorites on the major tournament stops.
While we have a break between the games, it gives me a chance to mention that the 2015 North American Shuffleboard Championships are played on Ultra Glide T4 speed powder, and that's what's being applied to the table now. Stock your game room with the player's choice. Shuffleboard Federation Ultra Glide speed powder, available at shuffleboardtables.com. So you see table 11 vacant right now. It's the two guys.
Yep, but right over there next door on table 10 is two of the other favorites in the tournament. The gentleman shooting right now in blue, Ryan Pearson, was the player of the year last year. His opponent, Billy Melton, is not only a world-class player, but his dad is perhaps the greatest tournament player of all time, Bill Melton. His dad had won this event 6 times. Unfortunately, got beat last night, and we won't have a chance to watch him play today, but Billy is a world-class player who has also never won this event, and I would expect him to be there right in the thick of things until it's over.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear when I came this morning you were talking about the number 1 was eliminated last night, so we'll not see him on Saturday.
No, and he has struggled particularly with Junior the last couple of years. Sometimes it's easier to be the pursuer than the top dog. So now the hammer switches. The person that had the hammer the first game now shoots first in the second game. And Roger is going to probably play this pretty conservative. You know, that they have both struggled with that spot a little bit, which is pretty surprising. Now, Roger will probably throw this weight short. Nope, I was wrong.
So two of them on the same side of the board.
Yeah, well, he was either going to throw that weight short and block up some board, or he was going to try and set it up. What he wanted to make sure he didn't do is leave the weights offset enough where Junior could have hit the deep one and slid in behind the block. But now what he's done is he wants to take away as much of the table as he can. Now that still leaves Junior what is one of his favorite lags, which is straight up the center of the table.
But a great opportunity for a 3.
It was, you know, that's on a freshly waxed board. It's probably a foot faster than it was at the end of the last game. So
great point.
This game is very much about constantly adjusting. Now, Roger's probably going to do quite a bit of this at this point in time, and he's just basically going to try and keep Junior from getting any kind of a feel for the speed as long as he can in this new game. Both of these guys are very fast players, and it looks like they have completed their first game while the first game in all the other matches is still in progress.
With the exception of that one shot at the end of the first game, you're right. They have been playing very quickly. They get to the board, get to the other end, get their weights, and start.
Yeah, and some of the other players in the field are, well, deliberate would be kind of a putting it kindly and mildly. Of course, as a tournament director, we love fast players.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the great thing about this sport, it doesn't matter what these two young men we're watching now are two of the younger men in the tournament, but you can play at any age.
Bill Melton won this tournament last year for the 6th time at the age of 79. And one of the really cool things about this is that there are just literally an unlimited number of possibilities with situations of where the weights are on the board and scores and things like that. And what one of the really great players, Billy Mays, who recently passed away, used to say is that in any given scenario, an amateur player might see 1 or 2 different options. Billy might see 10 different things that he might try. So you never stop learning about the game and being in different scenarios that are similar to things that you've experienced, but not necessarily exactly the same. This end of the board that they're playing on is marginally faster than the other end. I can tell by watching a couple of their hammer efforts, and I think that they might both prefer to actually have the hammer on the end that Roger's on. Has it this frame. Well, after missing that weight a couple of times, looks like Junior's got it figured out and stuck that without any problems.
Roger is frequently putting powder at that end of the table. Is it something he's not comfortable with, the way his weight is sliding?
Well, you don't ever want your weight to start in a dry spot. That's for sure. That's primarily why people wax it. Oh,
yeah, I thought it was going to be right at the end.
So the most important thing is you want whatever lane that you're delivering the weight through. When you release it, to be nice and freshly powdered and consistent. Again, a pretty conservative strategy on Roger's part. It didn't look like he even attempted to stick that weight. Which Junior likes, is that gives him opportunities to continue to try and get the speed dialed in. He's obviously trying to stick this one.
And does.
This board is actually flattened out probably more than myself or the players would prefer, due to the, as we alluded to earlier, the dry conditions here in Nevada make the natural tendency of the boards to become flat, or even the dreaded high center where the weights fall off the sides instead of curving towards the middle. So been a couple of times where weight's fallen off the side where the players expected it to pull back in. These boards will probably be adjusted again in the morning to compensate for that.
Excuse me, but I haven't noticed at all any conversation between the two. Is that depend on the players from player to player, or is it something that guys do not talk to one another very much?
That's very much a player-to-player thing, although there tends to be less conversation as you go deeper into the tournament. But yeah, neither one of these two guys is known for much conversation with their opponent over the course of the game. Now Roger again is going to give Junior no ammunition whatsoever. If there's a clear board, he's just throwing a short weight. And Junior's just trying to get that speed dialed in after having lagged off once already. Now if he's, well, yeah, Junior is a hyper-aggressive player, and he's going to go ahead and try and go in behind that weight. And looks like he put a pretty good stroke on it.
He did.
Not quite. Not quite. That's actually a mistake to throw it there and not get it in behind, because Roger, good chance that he'll stick this weight and force Junior to, he almost hit that back weight. Oh, that's a great shot by Junior.
It is.
That is the hit and slide that I've been referring to. I don't think we've really seen a good one prior to that, but when I say hit and slide, that's what they're trying to accomplish.
You take your opponent off the board and keep your weight on the board.
Well, not only just on the board, but sliding from one side to the other, so it actually becomes deeper than the original weight.
Did that actually go from a 2 to a 3?
Yes.
It did, okay.
And for the most part, those are easier shots to make when the weight is in one corner or the other, because it gives you a better angle and also the natural curve of the table to work with.
John, this is the first time in the match that Junior has led.
Yeah, and I expected this to be just a knockdown drag-out, so this game is shaping up early on kind of the way I expected the whole match to go. Now this is Roger is deploying a strategy there which we call protecting your hammer. He's not going to throw any kind of a deep weight down there that's going to be difficult for him to outlag, so he put it over there where Junior can't go around it, and it's short enough that if Junior does stick it, it's an easy lag for him. So he's just keeping his, what he wants to do is lag on a clear border against a relatively short one, which is what he did there. And got himself a 2, it looks like.
Regained the lead.
Now, once again, Junior being the aggressive player that he is, he may try and bump that. No, he's perhaps feeling good about the speed of the table and feeling like maybe he's dialed in. We'll just play this conservative and try and lag himself a 3.
You mentioned earlier, but in watching the other players and then watching our feature game, they play so quickly.
Yeah, this is a much faster pace than most players, especially most of the pros. We have a reputation now. Oftentimes in this game, the better the player, the slower they are. Some of that is just being really deliberate, but also the fact that the pros are thinking of so many more options that they see that the average amateur player doesn't.
Good point.
So
yeah.
they're running through a multitude of scenarios on how they want to play any given shot.
And
very surprising that Junior seems to be struggling with the speed on that end a little bit. Because he's lagged multiple ones, and he's a guy that doesn't lag very many ones over the course of the game.
While they're doing that, how many shots ahead can they think? Because each time the weight goes down the board, it seems to me that the strategy would change. But can you actually think 2 and 3 shots ahead?
Yeah, and essentially they have a pretty good idea of what their opponent wants to do and what their strengths are. So you're both checking out shots for yourself, but also are mindful of what it is that the opponent wants to do and how you might try and take that away from them. That's supposed to be an O. H-O-L-L. Holloway is misspelled. Well, that certainly puts Junior in a spot where he needs to make a shot, and he did.
Yeah, you could see Roger, he came to near our broadcast area just shaking his head. He knew he had made a mistake.
But that's a situation where you don't want to block it so deep that it leaves an easy combination like what he did. But you also don't want to block it a little too short and give Junior an opportunity to just hit the back weight and stick it, and now you're in trouble, even though Junior was the one who made the mistake or missed a weight early. Yeah, that's pretty unusual. Generally, players in that situation are going to be long much more often than they're going to be short. Because essentially there's no penalty. You give up 1 point regardless, so you very much want to throw a 3 or even a 4 in that situation. Coming up short is one of the absolute mortal sins in shuffleboard in a situation where you're lagging against only one weight. So Rogers right here is going to be checking out the speed of the table. He's going to try and find a nice 2 or 3 speed, 2 or 3 lag for himself. So he's checking that out right here since it's a clean board. So if that lane is in fact open on Rogers' last shot, pretty good chance that you'll see another 2 or a 3. Junior, of course, is going to try and block that lane and make him force Roger to lag in a different area of the table. And this is, again, the protecting the hammer strategy. He's got that weight completely out of his way, so if Junior does stick it, that lane that he just checked the speed out on is still going to be open. Junior's probably just going to hit it hard, leave him a clean board.
Yeah, okay, we're talking about thinking ahead. That's exactly what he was doing when you said testing the speed for now that 2 or 3, which he's taking his time.
Yep, and he's going to lag into that exact same spot that he just checked out a couple of shots ago. And that's pretty much it. Players at this level, if you let them lag where they want to and you don't block that shot, you're probably just going to see the same result. Oh, he got off the speed a little bit there.
A little short.
Didn't look like he really followed through as much as he normally does.
Yeah, that was wide open for an easy 3.
Yep, so that's a couple of missed opportunities in a row for Roger. He's had the hammer the last 2 frames and only managed to make 1 point out of both of those opportunities combined.
Yeah, and he leads in this match 1 game to none.
It looks like Junior's considering. Nope. Not that he might be considering trying to go around that weight, but he's and as I mentioned before, 12 is a really big number in this game. 9 is also a really big number. Junior's going to do everything he can to make sure he gets on 9, because that then gives him the opportunity to win the game in 2 frames. If he lags back-to-back 3s after getting on 9, then he's the winner. Wow. Well, he will. Now, this is interesting because most players here are going to be content to take another 1 and make sure they get on 9. Junior, as aggressive as he is, we'll see how far he wants to push this. And he did.
Boy, he did.
He hit him hard.
Nice 3.
Yep, really huge mistake there by Roger. And uncharacteristic and unexpected. Junior now throws that weight off on purpose. He's not going to give Roger any ammunition whatsoever. If Junior had kept that weight on the board any place, Roger would have likely either tried to go around it or bump it up into a spot where there was a go around. Junior's going to try and probably did not want to stick that weight.
Only the second time in this match that either player.
Roger's going to try and go around that now. No, not enough speed. Just see the way it was curving in, but he was way short on his speed. Maybe feeling a little bit of pressure, and Junior's going to take this opportunity to try and get real aggressive, but he's too close to the side again.
I'll work on that. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, not really. He would prefer to have had that weight either a little deeper and perhaps not gotten as close to the side, so it would have curved in and been completely covered. Roger's going to try and pass all of them, which is or maybe make this combination. I'm not sure what that was. Whatever it was, was not executed the way he wanted it to. You can see the frustration on his face.
Yeah, he's had more frustration in this game than the entire first game, just in the last few points.
Yeah, because he kind of felt like he was in a good spot in the match, and especially after having won the last game, and he knows he's letting Junior right back into it and is likely headed for game 3 now. Now Junior's opportunities, Junior's options are to either try and stick that blue weight, which he might do to put 3 weights on the board, or he might try and bump those 2 red weights. If he hits that back weight, he could bump that the deeper of those 2 in behind all the weights and leave Roger no combination, or he could come in freehand, which it looks like he's opting to do, and either pass those weights or just block some board. And it looked, he came up short. It looked like he was trying to actually put a 2 or a 3 in behind that blue weight and really put the pressure on, although there's a ton of pressure now.
Roger, again, very pensive, looking at what his options are.
Well, the thing is, with where those weights are, basically, if you come up short, you're going to come up short of 3 weights, not 1. So it's almost a triple penalty if you make a mistake. And he hasn't lagged over in that spot the whole game, and that's a huge mental error there. Although, as I said, you can tell that these boards have flattened out a little bit. It's not really as much curve in them as they would both prefer. Nor myself as a director, we will probably be through these boards again in the morning, readjusting and putting some of that concaveness back into the tables.
And Junior a point away from evening the match.
Yes, indeed, and it's game on once that happens.
You mentioned earlier, John, if he does tie the match, then they flip again for the hammer.
Correct.
In game 3.
And once that happens, it's the person that loses the coin flip has a choice of color. I would expect there's probably a 90% chance that one of the players will switch colors. The other player has the hammer.
Is it a sport where the players are superstitious?
It's not superstitious, just that, no 2 weights are identical. They're both playing with Pro Series weights, which are kind of the gold standard in the game, but most players still have a color that they prefer, even out of their own sets. And sometimes it's not even that. It's a matter of thinking that maybe your opponent was really in stroke, and maybe you have no personal preference on color within your own weights, but you think that maybe they do, and you're just trying to force them to do something different.
So a little bit of a head game strategy.
This game is so strategically intricate. It will absolutely blow your mind, and I hope we get a chance to really get into some scenarios here where there's where that's really in play. Now, Roger's only got 1 goal here. He needs Junior to hit and stick one of these weights to give him a chance to go in around the weight and hide it. Junior's just going to try and hit these real hard right now and leave nothing but a clear board. If that does happen through the first 3 weights and nothing is stuck, then Roger's going to try and put himself a small 2 either right in the middle of the board or on one of the corners and hope to either steal a hammer or the Junior would come up short or lag off the board. So again, same strategy. If Junior does happen to stick this, Roger will try and go around it. And you can see by the Junior's reaction, he did not want to stick that weight. He's given Roger a small opportunity where there would not have been any whatsoever had he hit that weight and gone off. So it looks like Roger's going to try and go to the right rail side and curve a weight in there.
Didn't quite hide it.
Didn't quite hide it, but it is a 2. If Junior should shoot at this and miss it or hit that back weight. Yep, he didn't, and game over.
So we're even at a game apiece.
We are.
Well, reminder, Grant and Betty Watson invite you all to the Eagles Lodge in Exeter, California for the annual 4th of July Shuffleboard Tournament. Or please stop by if you're passing through. They've got 4 great shuffleboard tables, food and drinks. Go Monarchs.
Meanwhile, on table 10, looks like we have a terrific match in progress. Looks like a steady diet of 2s and 3s out of Billy Melton and Ryan Pearson.
Now, the winner of this match, when will they play again?
They will play again. I think that the next matches are scheduled for 11 o'clock. So all of these players that advance past this round that are in the pros will have a match immediately thereafter. And although this game, players are not athletes in the traditional sense of the word, but in major tournament competition, these guys, whoever makes it to the finals tomorrow, will have played anywhere from 8 to 12 or 14 hours today. And to be on your feet that length of time and mentally considering all the options over such a long period is very demanding.
Yeah, being on your feet is tough enough. The mental strain makes up for the physical strain of other sports, certainly.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, heirloom shuffleboard tables are the finest shuffleboard tables on the market. 100% handcrafted by a third-generation carpenter. Absolutely no details are overlooked. Quality as timeless as the game itself. Browse our virtual showroom at shuffleboardtables.com.
Yeah, it looks like both players are taking a moment to gather themselves for Game 3. They're still well ahead of the normal pace here, having completed 2 games in just over an hour.
Interesting. I wasn't watching the time, and it went quickly. It didn't seem like an hour.
No, it's game flow is pretty terrific.
You know, you mentioned earlier, John, that Billy Mays, one of the all-time greats, had passed away. What influence did Billy Mays have on these 2 players?
Well, Billy was pretty much a major influence on every top player in the game. Billy was unquestionably the greatest player in shuffleboard history. Not necessarily the greatest tournament player. Billy was obviously a great tournament player, but he absolutely thrived in straight-up games for high stakes. But Billy thought this game on a level that was just light years ahead of everybody else. So his strategy, one of the really great things about Billy is that he would teach anybody, even the guys that were his contemporaries. And to put that into perspective, I mean, can you imagine when Tiger Woods and Phil were both at the top of their games, and if Phil had a little glitch somewhere, can you imagine Tiger Woods taking him over to the range and say, let me fix that for you before we go out and play for the title? And Billy always did that, and that was just a remarkable thing. He really gave back to the game in that fashion, but also in a game full of giant egos, Billy's was ginormous, and he pretty much felt like it didn't matter what he did to help your game, you weren't going to beat him anyway. But Billy, in the latter years of his life, his kind of home bar was the same place that David Williams Jr. plays out of, so they've certainly spent a lot of time together. But, Billy's passing was he was kind of like our Ben Hogan and Jack Nicklaus and Frank Sinatra all rolled into one. His presence in the game was, you could not overstate it.
Well, you're the founder of this tournament. Do you ever foresee that you would have a Billy Mays annual tournament someplace, just adding his name to the prestige of a tournament?
Well, they're doing that in his home area of Hurst, Texas. They had a tournament for him this summer, which is going to be an annual. We did name one of our 3 rooms here at the Sands. This is the main room that we're playing in. We have 2 smaller rooms. One of them has 6 tables, one has 8. The 8 board room we have renamed Billy's Roadhouse, and one of Billy's many nicknames was Roadhouse Billy, and that was given to him. I'm not sure if he already went by that name, or if that came about as a result of the Sports Illustrated article about him in 1967, where they called him Roadhouse Billy. So I'm not really sure if that's where that came from, or if he was already known by that particular moniker prior to that.
We're watching Roger now put the powder on the table, getting it to his liking, taking a little bit of time.
But for anyone who doesn't know about the history of shuffleboard, that's a terrific article to look up. It's available on the Sports Illustrated archives. It was September 1967 and remains, from what I understand, one of the longest articles ever written in Sports Illustrated. It was 8 or 9 pages, and just a legendary character. He certainly missed here and will be for a long time.
Well, obviously I can tell with the emotion and the sentiment that you speak of him, he was a legend and a giant in this sport. Well, we're ready to go for Game 3. This segment is brought to you by a donation from Steve Fisher from Winston-Salem, Oregon. Thanks, Steve.
Yep, Steve's got himself a couple of bars up in there in the Winston-Salem area that they have shuffleboards in it, and he's been around the game his whole life and is a terrific promoter and sponsor. Roger's obviously trying to stick that weight based on the speed he threw it. Sad to say, in the course of the commentary, I lost track of who won the flip there and who has the hammer. Almost certainly Junior would have preferred to stick that weight. Well, I can tell based on that it's Roger's hammer, and he's just protecting his the center of the table where he will probably lag. Junior did not want to stick that weight. On a clear board with no weights on it, especially on the first hammer, you need to be a little conservative because you don't know how much the speed of the board has changed from the end of the last game to the start of the next one. But to lag, had the opportunity to lag against a 1 really gives you a green light, where had he hit that weight hard enough to just clear the board, would have been a different situation for Roger. Now Roger here is trying to check out that shot that he tried to make on Junior a couple of frames ago, to come in from that side of the table to pass all those weights. He didn't really get it done as well as he would have liked, so first opportunity to check out the curve and the speed of that lane is what he did there. And it looks like they're both still struggling a little bit in that spot. Roger obviously wanted to stick that weight or slide it over into the center of the table. I would expect if there gets to be a crucial point in the game where one player needs to try and steal the hammer, that's probably where they're going to put the weight. And Roger obviously did not stick that last weight because he did not want to give Junior a chance to go around anything, especially early in the game like this. Neither one of them quite as crisp on some of those knockoff shots as what they generally are. Which you'll often see early in the day, players not quite in dead stroke yet, especially after having played late last night.
Yeah, we started tonight local time, or today rather, local time at 9 o'clock. So,
yeah, then the last matches last night wrapped up around 1:30 in the morning. So, and this will be another very long day for whoever advances. again, it looks like Roger's just practiced his lagging area the first time and will now protect his hammer on the next weight. Maybe a little deeper than he wanted, but Junior's not going to get aggressive and try and pass that at this point in the game. Yep, same thing, just leaving it short enough that it's easy to outlag if Junior sticks it, which he does not want to do anyway. He might not mind that. He didn't want to stick the weight, but it's not terrible because it did take away some of the lane that Roger has been practice lagging into. But he would very much prefer to just give him a clean board. Because again, lagging against one gives you a green light. And that did in fact probably was the reason why that weight went off, is that Junior did have it basically blocking up the spot that Roger had been lagging into. Looked like the lane that he in fact went to after that was a little faster than where he had done his practicing, and thus off the end of the table. And another.
Yeah, so in effect, Junior took a sweet spot away from him.
Yeah, which is what you're, almost always trying to do in this game. And it's, as I said, if you let a person just lag wherever they want to, you're going to just get a steady diet of 2s and 3s. So you're always wanting to switch them around into different spots, different hands. And I am surprised that they both continue to struggle in that spot. Because even if they don't want to stick the weight, they're generally going to hit pretty close to the center of it instead of just barely clipping it the way that they've both been doing pretty consistently. Yeah, and Junior did want to stick that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a touchy spot there. It doesn't, when you get over to the closer to the side of the table, it doesn't look like it's pulling in as much as they think it does. And it might be pulling in a little more than they think it does once it's, when it's a few inches off the side. That's a huge mistake.
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't even close.
Off the end, yep, it was. Again, the speed, a factor.
But, yeah, I would have expected that to be much closer than that. Roger knows what a huge mistake that was. You lag off on a clean table, and not only do you not score any points, of course, but then the other person gets the hammer, so it's a double mistake. And that's just, that's pretty hard to believe. It'll be interesting to see whether he covers that, bumps it, or goes in behind it. Looks like he's opting to try and bump it. So Junior will probably try and hit that and slide behind the other weight, because if he hits it and goes, then he gives Roger a chance to go behind it again. So, well, he slid it, but he would have preferred to slide it in the other direction behind that blue weight. Now he's giving Roger the opportunity to do that. Yep. And
again, not hitting it
you
flush.
can see on, yeah, he wanted to hit that on the other side and slide it then behind him. And you can see it on both of their faces, a little bit of frustration, and that also just kind of goes to how much they both want to win this match. Of course, winning is the ultimate goal, but the winner of this match is guaranteed to be in no worse than 8th place. So they're guaranteed to be in the money in some fashion for the winner.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, if you weren't with us at the time, that the money is for the first 8 spots in the tournament. That's why John mentioned that the winner of this one is guaranteed a money slot.
Well, he's only got one thought here, and he's going to try and put a 3 down there. He's a great lagger, and this is an opportunity to really put himself in control of the game. All right, well, he's certainly not disappointed with that. Yep, and as I mentioned earlier, you can tell by watching these that the end that they're shooting on right now is a little bit faster than the other direction. And Roger's just trying to get that speed figured out again. He was lagging that in pretty good earlier in the match, and just seems to be struggling a little bit right now. Yeah, he would love to have had that weight stay right there on the rail.
We were talking about the fact earlier about colors, but neither opted to change colors this third game.
Nope. They both stuck with what they liked there. Junior just threw that weight because he knew that Roger was not going to pass it. And what that was is Junior was checking out that shot. He would like to have had that weight go off the end of the table right at the side of the board. In other words, if there was a 3 sitting right there in that corner, that's what he was doing in his mind, is taking a practice shot as how would I stick that 3 if there was one there. So the fact that he went off the side with it means that he's not really, doesn't really have that shot figured out at this point in time. I would expect if there's another clean board situation that he may do the same thing, throw the last weight off on purpose, but it'll be more into that corner, which he was trying to practice. Now this is a decision for Roger. Does he want to get aggressive here and try and pass this weight? Passing weights when you don't have the hammer is super dangerous because if you make a mistake, you can really put yourself in trouble, but he has opted to try for it, and now he's in a world of hurt.
Right.
Because Junior's probably going to attempt that same shot. Yep, and that's really not 100% what he wanted, because now if Roger gets really aggressive, he might try and pass them both. Nope, he's going to try and make the combination. And that wasn't really close. He was trying to knock both of those weights off.
Yes, he was.
So Junior now is looking at that, and I would say he's probably going to try and tap it into a 2 or sit right on top of it.
Just making that verbal decision or that mental decision right now. Got to hurry.
Actually, it looked like he's just trying to block it, which is not a bad strategy, given the fact that he has the lead. But now where he missed that block, if Roger happens to stick that, he's put himself in a good position where he's going to make Junior settle for no more than 2 points. So from where he was, this is pretty much the best possible outcome that Roger could have had from the frame after trying that go-around shot that didn't work out.
Third time in the match we've had a 4-point differential between the players. In the first game, Roger had a 10-6 score. The second one, Junior had 11-4, and Junior once again with a 4-point advantage of 7-3.
Yep. Now Roger looks like he's going to try and what we call freeze the weight. He did that on purpose. He didn't want to knock it off. Now he's going to force Junior. Junior will probably just knock both of these weights off, because what Roger wants him to do is try and block it. If he doesn't make a good block, then Roger has a chance to stick both of those weights and make a huge frame on him. Yeah, now he's just going to stick the weight. It's that coming right up on top of it, something that you would do on the first or second weight, primarily just the first. Later in the frame, it becomes progressively more dangerous. Junior's definitely going to want to stick that, because if he does, he's going to have himself a small 2. Over if Roger sticks it back, he'll only have a 1-point shot. It's really deeper than he wanted it, but it's not necessarily a bad shot because neither players really had an opportunity to stick a weight over there. So we'll see if Roger knows that. But it is deep enough that he could actually slide that for a 3 without a ton of difficulty if he in fact knows the shot. Okay, so he makes himself a 2 there.
Cuts the lead in half.
Roger's putting it over there. That's the least likely spot for Junior to try and go around a weight. Wow. Well, he's going to try and put himself a 2 or a 3 around that weight. He's going to go around it on the rail side. Yep, and Junior will try and make a combination here. Didn't need much time to think about it.
No, he sure didn't.
This is either going to be another go around or maybe a bump. Looks like he's opted to try and bump it, but a little too hard. Wow. That's just an enormous mistake.
You notice it or not, John?
Completely uncharacteristic.
As quickly as these guys are playing, all the other tables are finished here in this round.
Well, it looks like some of those matches went 2 games straight, where this one is in the 3rd game.
So again, off the edge of the
that's
board.
Just it's impossible to tell you how bad of a shot that was.
Yeah.
Because 9 is such a critical number, and to not get on 9, especially when you've got a lead like that, is just
and a wide open board.
Yeah, I mean, Junior, as I said, is a very aggressive player, but you absolutely have to get on 9 there. A 4-point lead with a chance to win the game with back-to-back 3s. That's a mistake that could be huge before this is over with.
See if Roger takes advantage of it.
Well, nothing complicated about this. He badly needs a 2 or a 3 here. Not only to keep the score close, but to kind of regain a little bit of momentum here. Because it's clearly all in Junior's favor right now.
Well,
all right, well, he needed that. He needed that.
Again, the score, they play till 15.
Yep, and Roger's not going to give Junior any chance to score with 2 weights here. He may try and... No, he's just going to play this conservative and straight up. But he really wanted to stick that last weight because he doesn't want to give Junior this opportunity to practice the speed of that spot. Junior will try and hit this and perhaps roll it over, keep it a 2. All right, that's a pretty good shot there. It's a deep one. You generally don't want to let players of Junior's caliber lag against a 1, but it does. If he does happen to lag short or off, you've kept him from getting on to 9 while also tying up the game. Yep, and that's
what he did.
And again, you know, that's a pretty big mistake at this level. You want to be, if you don't successfully outlag it, you want to go off the end of the board where you give yourself a chance. You lose the hammer either way, but to come up short is just it's a mistake that you don't normally see at this level. Junior's thinking about bumping this weight up. No, he's going to pass it. This could be a little dangerous because if Roger sticks this weight, you know, Junior really doesn't want to be in a position where he's lagging against 2 weights, especially with that one covering up, you know, as much board as it is. But Roger's also, you know, very much aware of the fact that if he does stick it, there's a chance that Junior just goes in and passes it. So he's got to be a little careful on how he plays it. That's pretty close to perfect because that weight, nothing the Junior can do with that. He can't go around it, and any place is going to get Roger in trouble. Although Junior could go up the middle there. Oh, my mistake. I kind of lost track of where we were in the frame. So, yep.
Having the hammer, he gets an easy 2.
Yeah, I lost track of where we were in the frame there. I thought that was his 3rd weight, not his 4th.
Now for Junior, he gets a 2 here. It sets him up very well.
Yep, and he threw that first weight off on purpose. He's not going to give Roger any chance to score more than 1 weight this frame. Based on the score, had he kept it on the table, Roger would have almost certainly passed it or bumped it or done something to try and get a couple of weights in play. And this is once again the protect the hammer strategy. Almost looked like Junior tried to slide that, or wanted to slide that weight into the middle of the table and block up some of Roger's preferred lagging lane, even though he hit it on the wrong side. But based on the speed that he shot it, it looks like he wanted to stick the weight. He'd have shot a little harder if he just wanted to hit it and go. And you can see based on the last couple of frames that spot there pulls up a little bit. It's not quite as fast as as if you were on the left side of center of the table.
And as you've mentioned a couple of times, it's slower at that end than it is at this end.
Yeah, and also looks like it's a little slower if you're to the right side of center than if you are to the left. It's an aggressive play, but not unusual for Junior. Now, had this game been a little different, if Roger had been 4 or 5 points behind, Junior would not have gone in there, but Roger would have probably opted to try and pass them both if the score was, the gap was a little bigger. So he's in a pretty tough spot here. He knows that there's a pretty good chance that Junior's going to lag a 2, but he pretty much has to turn him loose at this point in time and hope that doesn't happen. Now Junior's just protecting his hammer. There's no place that Roger can pass that, so he's just going to hit it. Hope that Junior doesn't hurt him too bad with the hammer.
Yeah, big shot right now for Junior.
Yeah, and again, 12 is a critical number. He's would love to have a 3 or a 4, but he's almost certainly going to try and make sure that he lags himself a deuce. And that's going to be short.
Ouch.
Yeah, and you can see the look on Junior's face. He wasn't happy with that effort.
No, and this late in the match, I can't say it's nerves.
Well, you know, the closer you get to winning it, certainly nerves become less of a factor as you get more warmed up in the match, but more of a factor as you get closer to closing out your opponent. This is not a bad shot, not a bad situation for Roger. He'd obviously prefer to be in the lead, but at 9-11, that's a classic scenario where you need to lag 2 threes, and if he does that, then Junior has to lag a 4. So if Roger can lag a 3 here and put himself on 12, he basically takes control of the match again.
Got to be close.
And you see that he's in a little different lane there. He's a little closer to the center, but still it pulls up a little bit. If he gets a little left to that center, where it's a little faster, that probably would have been a 3. And Junior loves the position of that weight, because what he would love to do right here is have a really, really deep 1 in Roger's lagging area, where if Roger doesn't make the shot, that Junior steals a point and gets himself on that prized 12th point.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, he's just going to go ahead and take his chances, let Roger lag, put his best shot up there, knowing that he's got the hammer coming back.
Huge for Roger.
Yeah, absolutely huge. Not really much difference between lagging a 1 and a 2. It still leaves him in a hole. He really needs a 3 here, and yeah, that wasn't particularly close.
Boy, with a wide open table, I'm shocked.
Yeah, they're definitely struggling with the speed going in that direction a little bit.
Now, on that side, he has the speed figured out pretty well.
Yeah, they both seem to have a little better control of the speed from that end. That's probably going to be if they get into a situation where they both got 1 weight left, there's nothing else on the board, Roger's probably going to put 1 in that corner and hope to steal the hammer back from Junior. Earlier in the game or at a different score, Junior wouldn't try and stick that weight. But he knows at this score, the chances of Roger taking a gamble and going around it are pretty remote. So again, just a short weight here. He's going to make sure that he gets a chance to lag with nothing of consequence in his way. I would be very surprised if this isn't a 2, 3, or off the board. Or maybe the first 4 of the match. I'd say the chances of this coming up short of being a deuce are pretty remote.
As the old saying goes, slim and none.
He's just trying to pick his lane, whether he wants to go straight up the middle or a little more of an angle. And he's Trying to use the curve of the board to swing it in there a little bit. And there we go. Big frame right there. Yep, and this, again, is a situation where Junior threw that weight off on purpose. He's given Roger no opportunity to get 2 weights on the board. Now, Roger's hoping that Junior will hit this and stick it, and if he does, Roger's going to try and go around it. He absolutely did not want that. That he's given Roger a chance to win this game with a great shot. Actually, it was going to require 2 great shots, but if he hits that and goes, there is no opportunity. Oh.
Yeah, Roger saying in frustration, "Are you kidding me?" He can hardly believe that, how much that weight came up short.
Yeah, and you did see that Junior waxed what was a fairly long dry spot on that right side. And that's kind of a mental mistake on Roger's part not to have waxed that and make sure that he had a nice smooth track to attempt that last shot through. So now this is a real tough position because that corner, I do believe, is a little faster than the lanes he has been lagging into. And he hasn't made many left-handed shots over there over the course of the game, period. But he needs a deuce. Oh, boy. That's a hanger. That's 4 points.
Wow.
That's a game changer.
It certainly is. From 13-12 to 14-13. When he needed it, he got it.
When he needed it. And Junior's been the best lagger in the game the last couple of years. You would expect him to come back with a 2 here, but not as easy when you absolutely have to have it. And you could see the look on Roger's face and his eyes, the intensity there, and that he now knows that he's given himself a chance to win. Yep, he did not want to stick that weight under any circumstances, and he didn't. So he's playing this frame exactly as he needs to. Junior may take a shot at that left cross corner and hope to get either a stick or a miss. Roger, well, he didn't want that because now Roger can stick that, and it's going to be tough to outlag for Junior. He would have preferred to have a 3 down there, that if Roger stuck it, he could stick it back. Huge.
Stay on.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's just an absolute nightmare. That shot is so hard to stick, it's just hard to describe. As a matter of fact, I would not be surprised if Junior just opted to try and outlag that. Because the chances of sticking that weight are extremely remote.
He's getting a long look at it. You can see it hanging over the edge.
Yeah, and because of the way that the board curves and everything, that's, wow. What an amazing turn of events. If I had to guess, I would say he's not going to shoot it that weight.
Tell you one thing is that facial expression has not changed throughout the match.
Nope, he's been really in control of his emotions and intensity. Very deliberate. But yeah, I think he's got two extremely difficult choices here. Either stick the weight or try and outlag it. I think he's going to try and outlag it. No, he's going to shoot at it.
At his second thought?
Maybe. Nope, he's going to outlag it. He's going to attempt to outlag it. And he has come up short. Wow. What a stunning turn
really,
of events.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
That hanger at the end for Roger Holloway gives him the match. He won the first game and the last game. And he trailed most of that third game.
That was some shuffleboard at its finest.
Well, stop by shuffleboard.com for all your table shuffleboard needs, featuring shuffleboard tables, powder, weights, aluminum caps, weight cases, and apparel. Our company and products are based on the premise that quality and performance never are compromised. Elevate your game with Summit Shuffleboard.
All right. Well, we got a few minutes.
See if I still can. Welcome to Table Shuffleboard's premier event, the 2015 North American Shuffleboard Championships. We're broadcasting live today from the Sands Regency Hotel Casino in downtown Reno, Nevada. And with me in the booth, doing the heavy work, Jerry Williams. Jerry, welcome to our telecast.
Thank you, Dan. Today we have a great matchup for you. Two great Texas players. We have Ryan Pearson, who will be the favorite in this game. He is out of Fort Worth, Texas, plays out of Volcanoes. He has been a pro for about maybe 3 years now, and or maybe a little longer, 4 years, and is the favorite in this game. And then we have Travis Ward out of San Antonio, Texas. This is his first year playing in the pro singles. He just moved up into the minus area as far as rankings go, so it should be a fantastic match.
Well, I hope it's nearly as good as our first match because that was right down to the end and a thriller. Well, we know the matchup. We know where we are. It's time to find out a little bit more about shuffleboard. If you don't know much about shuffleboard, we've got the expert for you. We'll have Destiny Stewart-Jones up with this video about how to play shuffleboard.
I don't have it yet. Hold. Stall.
So, Destiny getting set up to tell us about this. And our first match went 3 games. Jerry, do you expect this one to be another 3-game match?
I do. I would expect that they'll be very close. They're both very good, even players, conservative players, so the hammer will be very, very important in this match, and I think we'll see some excitement.
Have we seen the flip yet to see who's got the hammer for at least the first game?
Travis has the hammer, so he's going to be shooting blue and will have the first hammer. They're doing their practice weights now.
Yeah, in practice we saw from that first match how important it is because that board changed throughout the match.
Absolutely. The speed of the boards really make a big change throughout the game, and this gives the players a chance to figure out the speed starting the game out.
Yeah, but again, at least starting it, you have some kind of scope. You've scoped it in a little bit, but we saw the edges change so much, and the end of the board on both the first and second game, the speed changed dramatically.
Yes. The wax is a little slow, so starting into the game, it runs really smooth, and then very quickly is breaking down so that by the third, fourth frame, it's a lot slower.
Well, we promise you, we tell you how to play the game. Not me, but Destiny Stewart-Jones has got instructions on how to play shuffleboard.
First, players will flip a coin to see who starts off with the hammer, which is the last weight shot in a frame. Then they will alternate shots, one player being red, the other having blue. The frame ends after all 8 weights have been thrown. Now let's count some points. The only weights that score in a frame are those of the same color that are past the opponent's deepest weight. In order for a weight to count, it must pass the short foul line, which is 6 feet from the shooting end. For a weight to count as a 2 or a 3, it must be 100% in the score zone. If it is touching the line, it will be called as the lesser value. Any weight hanging off the end of the board is worth an impressive 4 points. This is how you check for a hanger. At the end of a frame, whoever scored will shoot first in the next frame, and if nobody scored, the hammer still switches. Have fun! Back to you, Dan.
Have fun, and that's exactly what we're here to do, is have some fun, even though it's serious for these guys. And in this match, I'm surrounded by Texans. You're from Texas. Both these guys are from Texas. Travis is from San Antonio, you mentioned, and Ryan is from Fort Worth. And I asked John McDermott, who worked with me in the first match, why so many people and why Texas is the heart of shuffleboard right now. Any answers to that?
I think that a lot of it has to do with once you get some players going and get a nice bar that has shuffleboard in it, it really grows. Once people walk in, they see players playing, they get addicted to the game. And we have several fantastic venues in Texas to play shuffleboard. Both Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin have great shuffleboard.
Well, I see you and your husband Bobby operate Williams Shuffleboard, and you have 60 places or 60 shuffleboards throughout Texas. How do you manage all that?
Well, Bobby is mostly the manager of Shuffleboard. I do not get very involved, but we have one guy who works for us and takes care of the boards, maintains them, and then Bobby does all the billing and invoicing, but it's a really great business to get into.
Yeah, and your daytime job, if you aren't doing this and you aren't doing the shuffleboard and that company, you're also a regional sales manager. What is it? What do you do?
I work for a company, Reynolds & Reynolds. We sell computer systems to car dealerships, and I am a sales director over a sales team.
Wow. So stay busy.
Yes, travel a lot. Very nice shot Ryan just made.
Yep, and we are underway with our second match of the day. Travis getting ready.
Going to go ahead and stick for his last weight, looks like. So Ryan stole one with his with the hammer from Travis. He was trying to stick for two and instead gave up one there.
You know, I was talking to Roger after the first match, and we were talking about how recently he had played and some of the problems he had. And he was surprised me to tell me that he had trouble with his legs and his back had gotten stiff, and it changed his game quite a bit.
Definitely can happen. You know, feel great just like any other sport. I mean, we use our legs more than you would expect. And then the constant bending over the board, a lot of people have a little bit of a back problem too. But in general, I think you'll find that our legs hurt a little bit more than expected.
Well, we were talking before with John about how much you're on your feet during a match. And our first match went an hour and 45.
Right.
So besides the physical strain of figuring out what you're going to do and your competitor, your body takes a little bit of a toll.
Absolutely. You get very tired. No doubt about it. Looks like here that Travis is considering going around this weight. Ryan has thrown a short one at the logo, and it looks like Travis is going to throw a short, like a little freehand go around. With the speed of the boards, going around is a little more difficult than we're used to, so he did come up a little bit short.
Yeah, and all the boards change, and we talked about that. We were on 11 last time. We moved over to 9. It's going to be interesting for me as being a novice in shuffleboard to see how much different this board is from the last board. And I know these guys got some practice on it, but they're still trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. The first several frames of every game, you spend quite a bit of your time throwing shots just to figure out the speed, to figure out how hard it breaks, whether your angles are good. So that's kind of the feeler game, essentially. The first game is always a little adventurous. Not unusual to see someone trying to go around so early in the game because no one really knows how the board breaks. So you have a chance of getting a weight and burying it at that point. Looks like Travis has got a nice lag there for a 2.
Yeah.
Both. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, no, that's all right. He did. He picked up the 2.
Yep. Both of these players shoot a lot of span shots and have a very actually similar game. Ryan probably shoots a little bit predominantly more right-handed than Travis does, but they both definitely shoot a similar game.
Yeah, they both say they're conservative, although when you talk about Travis, he's a little more aggressive.
I would say so. They both depend on their lag. They're very good weight hitters. I would guess that either one of them, you will see them go around pretty consistently when they have the opportunity. So I would consider both of them to be relatively aggressive players. Both do depend on their lag, though. Travis might be a little bit more conservative just because this is his first pro tournament, so he might not be as aggressive as his normal play at home.
Now, do you remember, you've been playing for 20 years plus in your first tournament, did you have butterflies and nerves in your first tournament?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Do you still?
I guess when it's getting important, I think any of us, just like any sport, I mean, you get excited. That gives you the excitement and knowing that you're making that shot. So absolutely. It comes down to the end. You need to lag a 2 or 3. You get a little excited. Travis is just going to blast this so Ryan can lag. Open board. Now, Ryan typically will shoot his lag freehand, which is becoming more and more popular. You probably noticed in the match before, Junior and Roger both also lag a lot of freehands with their hammer. That's a relatively new thing in the sport. In the last 5 or 6 years, most of us have moved to freehand lags instead of off the rail. Tied up at 2-2.
Yeah, our match is tied. So Ryan breaking into a little bit of a little smile on his face. Our first 2 competitors, they didn't change their demeanor one iota, no matter if there was a 4-point lead or the match was tied.
Yes, they both are very stoic players, very excited. They play each other a lot. I don't know if they had told you, but they recently had a huge match.
They did. I talked to them afterwards. Yeah, you exactly go ahead and fill in about how huge that match was.
They had a shootout down in Houston. So Junior drove on down to Houston. It's about a 4-hour drive, and played Roger in his home board, which is Bar Sports. Had to think of what it was called. And so he went down and they played, I think it was 3 out of 5 for 1,000 a game, and played for pretty much 48 hours straight. And at the end of the day, Roger was only down 1 match. Here we have a little excitement going on. Ryan tried to go around a weight and put a nice 3 in there. Travis went in and stuck it, rolled it out. It's a little bit open now. And Ryan's going to be going at that weight with a cross span shot.
On that shot we had, you got a perspective of what he sees from behind. And you wouldn't see the weights moving like this, but you got a good look at what he saw and what he was lining up.
Absolutely. So Ryan had a perfect line on the weight. Just the speed of the board is a little bit off for him, and so he came up short. It's actually not a terrible shot in that now Travis has to outlag a 2. So it looks like Travis has a 3 working, and Ryan's got a 2 backing it up. Not the best cover. Looks like Ryan's probably going to be able to go in between those weights and blast that out of there. Now, I think this will require a left-hand shot from the angle up here, it looks like. Nope. Ryan's going to shoot another right-hand span.
Now, Travis lists himself as being more ambidextrous than Ryan.
Very much so. Ryan is a very predominantly right-handed shooter. And I think that shows a little bit like right there. That would, I think a lot of people would have shot that left-handed.
Yeah, Jerry, you expected him to split the weights, and he didn't.
Right. I expected, really thought that Ryan would probably shoot down the left-hand rail and blast those weights out of there. Very hard to outlag that 3 he had going. Came up a little bit short. So all-around good frame. Got a couple of point lead now. You're trying to decide, do I want to just throw a short weight? Do I want to keep it on the rail? Looks like Travis is going to go deep on the rail. And as I mentioned, the boards are a little slow, so you'll see a lot more potential go-around shots than we would normally have. Usually at 5-3, little 3-point lead, you really wouldn't give an opportunity to go around. And I think it looks like Ryan is going to try to go around this weight. Oh, dumped.
Yeah, didn't hang on.
Looks like he threw it in there pretty hard to the rail. So Travis will most likely either cover the hole and keep him from going around, or try and go around himself. But it looks like he is, yeah. So didn't end up being what he wanted to do at all. He was either trying to go around the weight, and now he's made it where Ryan has a chance to go around on the other side, which a much bigger hole.
Yeah, and Ryan said his strategy was, since the tables are slow, I won't give any go-arounds.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's all of our goal at this point, is to try and not give those go-arounds, but it's slow. So, unfortunately, it's a little bit off of our normal stroke, and I have seen more go-arounds in this tournament than I've ever seen before. Ryan came up a little bit short. Travis is going to probably try and bury one in there.
A little strong.
Threw it off. Yeah, a little strong there. Ryan is probably going to try and go around as well here. Yep.
Interesting how his strategy when he got on the board is different than he thought going in.
Oh, yeah. We all like to think we're conservative until we start playing. Let's see what Travis decides to do here. He has the option of either blocking the board, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and try and go in there. And did. Nice deuce.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Not what Ryan was hoping to see.
You can see him shake his head a little bit as he steadies and decides where he's going to go.
Looks like from what he is showing, he's going to try and go in there freehand and stick that weight, which definitely is a great shot. A little bit short. Didn't throw it quite hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Came back too quickly. So Travis takes a pretty good lead.
Yeah, in the first match, the biggest lead either player had was 4 points, and now you've got a 6-point difference, 6-point bulge.
So now Travis would typically play very, very conservatively at this point.
Try to get that 1 point and get to 9.
Yep. He'll probably throw this weight off or throw a short weight. And all he's doing now is trying to keep himself out of trouble. So he will consistently shoot firm, so just blast weights off. Trying to make that decision whether he's going to throw it, how he's going to practice his weight. So a lot of the times when we are throwing that first weight, even if we want to throw it off, we are practicing a shot, trying to learn something about the board, particularly because it's early in the game. He wants to make sure he knows how to hit a weight. So Ryan is setting up some go-arounds now. He will pretty much probably throw a go-around every shot for a little while till he gets back in the game. And Travis is just going to try and blast everything off just like that.
Yeah, because we mentioned Travis trying to look for that 1 point. The most advantageous scores are 9 and 12.
Yes, absolutely. You're trying to get into the double digits in this case at the end of the frame. I mean, Travis is trying to have a point working and let Ryan lag. Both these players have really good blast shots. They shoot very firm and have the ability to get off weights without sticking them pretty easily. So Ryan's going to switch it up a little bit. He's been throwing right cross to try and get Travis to stick a weight. He's going to try it left-handed, see if he can make an adjustment. Actually, looks like he's going to try and throw a deep weight.
And Jerry, you're talking about weights, and we've been talking both about weights. And Ryan is using a Pro Series M20, the M20s, and
Yep.
for Travis, he's using the Federation Series 8s.
Yes. So Travis's weights are a little older and most likely a little faster. The Series 8s are a very nice speed weight, very, very coveted, and everybody would like to have them. Unfortunately, they were sold quite a while back, so they're hard to come by. And Ryan has a standard set of M20s. Travis is going to try and stick this weight. Oh, what a nice roll.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it is stickable for a deuce, and well, can't see exactly, but it is in Ryan's wheelhouse. That's his favorite shot, right cross. So we'll see. I would guess that he's going to go right at it. Important thing here is to not let up your speed because the boards are slow. Plenty firm. Nice
and
shot.
right there.
That'll help you get back into the game.
That's right. 2 more for Ryan, makes it an 8-4 game.
Ryan will probably go back to throwing short weights so that he has something to go around. Just trying to entice Travis into going around a weight or even sticking a weight.
Travis, one of the few athletes that doesn't have a nickname. When you look at
That's true.
You look at Ryan, his nickname is Baby Pro.
Yes. Ryan got that nickname because he was rated a couple of years ago to the pro status, but was like a -5-1, which was a baby pro.
Just
so
barely there,
yes,
right?
just barely there. So we teased him quite often. He is from the same bar that I play out of, and we call him Baby Pro pretty often. He, since then, has turned into a very good pro.
He seems pretty upbeat. I saw him this morning when we were here early setting up, and he came walking in with his case, and he was whistling. He was having a good time.
Absolutely. Ryan is always very upbeat and friendly to everyone. One of the things that he is very well known for is having shuffleboard lessons down at Volcanoes. He wants everybody to play, so he shows up every Monday night and tries to get new players to come in and to learn the game. He'll show them how to shoot, how to hold the weight, how to stand correctly. He has a system that he teaches off of using the way you move your wrist. So it's kind of fun to listen to him talk. And then he has a very good span shot and has taught a great number of players how to span. Travis, on the other side of that, Travis is very well known now for his computer system that he has created for all of us to use. It allows us to run shuffleboard tournaments, to make it easier to do registration and put pairings together. We use it. They're using it here at this tournament, of course, and we use it all of the time in Texas as well.
You know, you and I were talking earlier, Jerry, about the tournament and a little bit of nervousness. For Travis, this must be like a walk in the park because his regular job is he's an air traffic controller at Randolph Air Force Base. So you talk about a job that has a lot of pressure, a lot of stress in it. This has got to be something that's very, very relaxing for him, no matter how tight the game.
I would think so. It's got to be a little nerve-wracking at work, and being able to come down and play a little shuffleboard to relieve some stress. I would say so.
And right now he's doing okay, leading by 5.
Absolutely. Doesn't seem to have any nerves in his first major tournament as a pro. Or his first year as a pro. Looks like Ryan's trying to get around that weight. Nice deuce.
Didn't quite tuck it.
So here will be the question of whether Travis just tries to blast that weight out or make a double stick and have 3 working. Let's see what hand he picks up, and we'll know what his plan is. He's going to try and double stick, looks like. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't end up sticking the weight, but still got it out of there, which is the most important part. And now you got Ryan's hammer here. He definitely gave that a little run this time. Oh, came up a little bit short. It looked good. Oh, it wasn't his hammer. Sorry about that. Can't count weights.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jerry. I thought it was his hammer also. Yeah, we only have to count to 4.
Right. Oh, big miss
Ooh,
right there.
yes.
Big miss. So if this is his hammer, now he's going to try and lag into that weight and possibly score 4. Looks like he came up short, though. Okay, we don't know what shot it is. This has got to be the last weight. Sorry about that. So both ones. So Travis has the opportunity to either make a combination and try and get both of them out of there, or with his span, he could go down the right rail and stick that deep weight. A little bit more of a risky shot because the boards are slow, so you have a chance to tip it. But it looks like Travis is just going to try a blast shot here. Try and make a combo. A little bit off.
Yep.
So now Ryan has the opportunity to try and go into that weight, but it looks like he's going to lag on the other side of the board. A little bit surprising.
So far, neither of these 2 competitors have been orthodox.
No, a little bit of excitement. 2 1s there.
See him change the score, a 9-6 score. Travis Ward on top.
Yep. Laughing at each other a little bit.
Yeah, and personally, I like to see that camaraderie between the 2 competitors. I mean, I understand how serious it is. You're playing for money. The first 8 spots cash in this tournament. And, it's serious, but as a friend of mine used to say at one time, it isn't all that serious.
It's we all take it very seriously, but we have a really big shuffleboard family. We see the same players year in, year out. And with the 2 of them both being from Texas, I mean, we obviously see each other more often than just once a year. So most players here are friends, both in shuffleboard and out. So have a little bit of a friendly competition among themselves.
That's one thing about the sport. It says, play well, but have fun.
Yes. It is a fantastic sport for every level of player. At my house, we have a shuffleboard in our house, and we don't practice all that often, but when we have parties, family get-togethers, the fantastic thing about shuffleboard is my grandma can get up there and play
right,
and have as good a time as the 4-year-olds. And they really enjoy just sitting there playing games, splitting up, and really having a lot of fun with it.
You talk about life sports like tennis and golf, and shuffleboard certainly falls in that category because you can, as you said, whether it's your grandmother or a 4-year-old, you can both play it.
Absolutely. I mean, we have that here. I think this week we have Obie Pierce's son is playing, and he is relatively young. I think maybe he's younger than 20, 15 maybe. And then we have Bill Melton, who is a 7-time world champion, and he turned 80 this year. So a wide variety of ages. Your skills can go across all ages without an issue.
You mentioned last year that Bill Melton was it returned 80 years of age. At 79, he was the pro champion.
Absolutely. Won this event last year. He is from Davis, Oklahoma, and has won it, I think it's 7 times, as well as Daryl Nelson, who is from Oregon, has won it 7 times. Both of them are a little older now and still love to play.
And non-Texans.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Because you people have dominated.
Yes. We definitely have the most number of players. Oregon and Oklahoma both have a really good set of players. Oklahoma has probably several hundred players that get out quite often. In tiny Davis, Oklahoma, and Wynnewood, Oklahoma, which is just right down the street. If you're driving down the highway, you don't even know that they're there. The cities are there, but they have great shuffleboard.
Well, back to this match. Travis Ward, as you see on the top of your screen, leading by 3. And Ryan Pearson about ready.
Yep. Gonna try and stick that weight.